Hey everybody, so every couple of few weeks I get stopped in the hallway by a teacher and said, hey, wouldn't it be great if we had this software tool or that software tool? And frankly, I'm a software guy. I love it when we get new tools and I love seeing teachers put them to work in classes, but there is a process. And today I'm going to walk you through how to get that new software item approved if there's something you want to bring into your classroom. There's a process to go through. I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. So there are 4 steps that you're going to want to go through to be able to get a new app going on. First, you have to know why you're using it. You have to be able to describe it to someone else. Then you're going to have to check if it's deployed, whether we're using it already. You're going to have to check whether or not it's compliant with student data privacy. And then there's a form to request the app. I'm going to take you through all 4 of those steps. So the first thing you want to know is your why, because you will be asked this on the form. It's going to ask who the users likely are to be, and then it's going to ask you to explain what it does, and then you probably want to be sure that you can connect it either to the curriculum that you're teaching or the standards, or something like the right work, or something that's core to your job responsibility. The second thing we have to check on is whether it's been deployed. That's whether or not it's been used somewhere in CREC, and if we know already at this step whether or not it is privacy compliant. So you have to have those answers. So for this step of the process, you're going to need to go to the CORI portal. That's where you usually put in your times in your units there. Well, you're going to go to a different part of what's called SharePoint. This whole section is called SharePoint. You're going to go to Tools and Resources right over here. You're going to bring down the menu and you're going to go to CREC Software. And once you click on CREC Software, it will call up the software applications listing. Look for Magnet Schools. And then once you get there, there's this page right here, this really nifty, helpful page. And the first thing you have here is a link to the app list. When you open up the app list, you're going to look here. Deployed means it's in use somewhere in CREC. And then this column to the left of it is its privacy status. All applications are supposed to be evaluated for student data privacy laws, and it gets reviewed, and you'll see that a lot of the stuff that's there has already been reviewed. As a matter of fact, if it's green or if it says Learn Community, either of those indicates that it has met our privacy. So this next step, is it compliant, has to do with if you didn't find out from the app list, if you didn't have the blue Privacy Learn Community or the green compliant tag to it, you don't know if it's compliant yet. There's one more place you got to check. I'm going to walk you through it. So if you couldn't tell on the app list whether or not it's compliant, you're going to go to the Learn platform. It's the Educational Software Hub. And you're going to have to create an account, use your work email. So create this straight through your CREC email. And then once you log in, it's just a really simple searchable database. And right here at the top, you've got a bunch of things that are compliant. As you look through everything, I'm going to pick up Magic School. And Magic School, for example, is compliant. So it's hits the compliant CT Pledge, Connecticut Pledge status. And you can answer yes, it is privacy compliant once you've seen that. If it's not green, if there's nothing there, or it says something else, you have to go to Request. And you hover over it, you click Request, and you can put in a request that it gets reviewed. But when you get to the form, you're going to have to say it does not indicate that it is compliant. That's all you need for that. So for this step, you've got all the information. Now all you need to do is request the app. All right, last step, we're going to put in the request. So the first thing you want to do is go to this page, the software list page, and you're going to go to make a request or request an app. Doesn't matter which link you use, they both go to the same form. And here is the form. The form is pretty self-explanatory. Email, last name, first name, role, school, all the stuff you expect. App name, give the full proper name of it. I wouldn't put in Word, I'd put in something like Microsoft Word. As an example, I know you have that already. Under the link, you want to the home page of the app, wherever it can be accessed, downloaded. The place that people are going to look for approval on this. Under department and subject and the courses, pretty self-explanatory. Users, also fairly self-explanatory, who's likely to be using this app. And then under description, you're going to put in a short description of what it does, describe its function and purpose first, and then after that, if you can add in, and it will help me thus and so, that can fit. But make sure you prioritize what it does, because that's what people need to understand. And then under the status of the app that you're requesting, you have to pick one of these 3 items. Remember all that compliance work we did? We're protecting student safety with that, so I'm glad you did it and I appreciate your efforts. And now you get to put it to good use. Under current, if you looked at the app list and it's on the deployed list, and then under student privacy, it either had the green compliant or it had the blue Learn Community, either of those, then you get to pick current because we know it's compliant and it's previously deployed in the district. If it's not on that list at all, but you went over to the Educational Technology Hub and you found out, oh no, it signed we signed the compliant list. So for example, Magic School, which I don't believe is on the app list, but certainly is on the Educational Technology Hub compliance list, you can say it's new, compliant, but never deployed. The third one, if it's not compliant at some point, you got to red flag that. Previously declined if you knew for some reason it was rejected, but now you want to kind of bring the conversation up again, or any other reason. Really, that's the catch-all. So if it doesn't fit one of these two, just pick the third one. And then click Submit. That will start a request process. Once you finish filling out the form, it would be helpful if you give me a heads up. An email would be great, just because I often get questions and help shepherd these things through the process. So it's great for me to know that you're working on getting an app approved. Thanks. So what comes next? Wait to hear back. The group that approves these software applications meets once every quarter. So depending on where you are in the quarter, it could be just a couple of weeks, it might be a few weeks to hear back. This gets sent to the supervisor for instructional technology and innovation, who shepherds it through the process, and then someone will get back to you on the status. Couple of pro tips before you're done. First of all, make sure you've given the theme coach a bit of a heads up, because he often gets asked about what's coming down the pike. Make sure you've also talked to your curriculum leader for your content area. They will be asked about this request, so you want to make sure that they know you've asked and that they're kind of aware of what you're working on, so they can be a partner in that process. Be patient. The group that does the reviews meets quarterly. It doesn't meet weekly or monthly. Also, if you have questions, see your theme coach or reach out to Mr. Hills directly at jhills@crec.org, and we'll do the best we can to answer the questions as we go. I hope you found this helpful. Thanks so much for watching.